Well, there are a lot of people who seem to think that it's smart to criticize an established institution, like the factory. I've heard these terror downers, and I know the one thing that man didn't tell you was the truth about the Manson factory.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, son, that factory isn't just a building of bricks and steel. It's more than that, far more. It's your town.
I didn't know what to do. Here was this letter telling me, my boss made my life so miserable, I can't live. I felt like she'd been murdered. My friend of 33 years committed suicide as a result of workplace bullying.
That kind of vicious treatment, you can almost fight back if you're hit. There's physical abuse, but
yes.
The insidiousness of belittling somebody and, I mean, damaging them.
And that's real stress on you, that somebody has the power over you.
Right.
And they just use it, and they grind it and grind it. And other people are not going to come forth to help you because of the fact that they're scared that they're going to be drug into that, where somebody's going to be doing the same thing to them.
Her boss, who happened to be male, stopped her on a road with his car. And there were fences along the side, so she couldn't move. And he got out of the car, came up to her truck. They were the last two people at the meeting, and he began screaming at her. To the point where she was physically afraid that he was going to hit her or do something to her, and they were, 200 miles from anywhere. Even though she had no word for what was happening and she couldn't put it into terms that we would use like workplace bullying or mobbing or something like that, in this email, she tells other people, document, document, document. Don't stand out there without backup. Hold your head high, be professional, and do not squirm, but do not get confrontational. If you have documented all your actions, decisions, and thought processes through good science, you will prevail. That's where I think you can absolutely distinguish the bully from, say, an inept boss. The bully is never going to be convinced because he doesn't want to be. He just wants to hurt her.
Do you have any other groups besides yourself who could speak to legislators to lobby the bill?
Because then it's a better assurance that we have people on the other side of CBIA to push for this bill.
I can also contact the CBIA and see if they're going to be opposed to it.
I'll bet you one.
You really going to ask them that?
Although
I
it's
would bet
worth a
all
shot.
of my paycheck
Anything
and my
is worth a
retirement that
Now, who
they
should I
won't
contact
oppose
in
it.
judiciary?
We always come up against CBIA, Connecticut Business and Industry Association. They're running around like maniacs, that labor committee, they're going to chase all the businesses out of Connecticut. They have those workers' comp bills and bullying in the workplace and terrible bills, that God forbid might help employees. But that's our biggest opposition, and they're an effective lobbying group.
At my last count, I think it was a total of 10 or 11 states that have even considered this bullying legislation. They all have done one crucial thing that Connecticut hasn't done, and that's put a severe limit on the monetary amount of damages that any one alleged victim can get by virtue of bringing a lawsuit. The average was brought to, I think, about $25,000.
Connecticut has never, in any law, in any tort law, placed a monetary cap on damages. Never. So to suggest that one needs to be in place here is disingenuous. It's not our state's tradition to do that. Why would they do it now?
In uniform so neat, each one demure and sweet, what we serve will be a treat. Here's a place to make a call. Your tips may be large or small. Sometimes there are none at all. Still, we're always at your service.
Sexual harassment was based on a variety of things that are historical facts. The population that may not be empowered to assert their rights in certain situations, so you need to have laws to protect them.
Do you have a cap on sexual harassment?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
My name is Oz Griebel. I'm the president and CEO of the Metro Hartford Alliance, which is an investor, member-driven organization. Its mission is to serve as the Chamber of Commerce for the City of Hartford and is the economic development leader for the Hartford region.
But these are bills that are hot topics right now and that they're saying no to.
Would you like some truffles?
What's considered harassing language. Harassing language, to me, may be totally acceptable to you. Well, there's some bills up there we're not happy with. Workman's comp, sick leave bills, desire to open up the state health plans, retirement plans. I mean, everything from the general philosophical concern of a group like this that the state ought to stay focused on what it can do best. Investment in higher ed, investment in infrastructure. Let the private sector do what we think the private sector does best.
So no matter how they word it or whatever, it's really not something you're going to embrace. But if push came to shove, you could see ways to
make it more amenable.
We may not like SB 60 as a concept, but we're certainly in a better position to influence what the bill would finally look like if that indeed is where the legislature and the governor decide to go.
Do you give any advice to your businesses?
What I tell people is you can generally cover yourself if you already have a policy in place that says these are the types of behaviors that we won't tolerate. We have a zero tolerance policy for them, and if we determine that any one person is engaging in them, we reserve the right to discipline you accordingly. It protects you from a union standpoint. You know, it keeps your union grievances down because everyone's put on notice. It protects you from a litigation standpoint because your reason for, let's say, terminating an alleged bully is not taking one person's word against theirs, but rather hopefully some evidence that you've had documented that shows that they contravened a policy, a written policy that they were put on notice of.
Because I think this law does have a lot of those things in it that you're talking about, this bill. You have to
then I
prove
must have
malice.
missed that part.
Yeah, you have to prove malice. You have to prove physical damages, psychological damages. I mean, those are hard things to. Just proving malice alone is hard. How do you prove malice?
Well, see, that's
you have
the
to
thing.
and I'm sorry. And if the employer shows that they have done something to alleviate the situation, they're off the hook.
That's a defense. Yes.